Amit, let's begin with the power of starting small. Everyone here has just had the experience of planting a sapling. A small baby goes in the soil, and now you will be seeing it, flourish, and you will be tracking its progress as it becomes into a big tree one day.
Yeah.
So the power of seeds, which means small beginnings. How do we connect that with wealth creation? Does it also begin with a small step, a small idea? How do we go about that?
Yeah. So as we were planting a tree, I think we just need to understand that we can take similar steps in terms of planting a wealth tree. So if you can identify your habits, which are all about understanding your money behavior, and actions, which is all about growing your wealth, it starts with that. So if you can discipline yourself with saving some money, we have a good mix of people. We have people who know it all in terms of financial planning. We have people who are homemakers. We have people who have left their jobs in the past and now they're trying to rebuild their career. We have also people who are in the corporate career and now trying to be on their own in their own consulting practice. So, having lived a life, we all understand the significance of money. So I think I would say start with understanding what needs to be spent and what needs to be saved, and what you are saving, where are you planting? And when you are you planting for an immediate need, or are you planting for a short-term need, or a medium-term need, or a long-term need? So the ecologist who was with us in the morning, he was giving examples that sometimes you plant and the tree is not visible for 3 years. It's not visible for 5 years because it's actually growing downwards. It's establishing a very strong network of roots so that when it comes out, it just comes out really fast. So if you really understand how you are investing money and for what purpose, and what is the power of compounding, which is the fruit of a plant, which is the double-digit growth, then you're going to have a lovely relationship with money. You're going to have a lovely, rewarding portfolio, which will always come and assist you. I call my group of people that money is the sixth element in nature. Earth, water, fire, air, space. After that, if there's one element that actually really helps you grow faster and creates a wonderful life, it's money. So your relationship with money has to be good. The utilization of money has to be good, has to be disciplined. And the focus about what you want to do with money has to be razor sharp. Once you have understood what you're trying to get out of the money that you have, I think your life will be sorted.
Never knew that we could look at it from this perspective as well, and it's an eye-opening session for me too. Now, I just want to bring that in a brand's life as well, Pooja. How does a brand's journey start? And I know you have coined this term, Seedhi Baat, right? Seedhi Baat no bakwas was with Sprite. So Pooja is in all likelihood going to do Seedhi Baat with all of us. But let's start with the seeding of an idea when it comes to a brand's journey. How does that happen? It begins with a core idea, a simple vision, and how does it progress from there?
So very, very interesting. So there's something that I believe, that there are certain things which are universal truths. So this happens to what we witnessed today in the morning and what Amit has just shared with us. It's like a universal truth. It's a way of life. So the same thing happens in the brand building world as well. So the first thing that we did today was, check the soil. Also a lot of it was done for us beforehand. But first thing that you do is testing waters. You check the soil. You see whether the soil is fertile for your brand to take off or not. But before that, you have to know what is it that you want. Aap chahte kya ho? What is your vision? Like Amit just shared, financially, what is your vision? What is the goal you're looking for? And in the brand journey, it's like, what is the brand you're looking at building? What is the kind of brand you want to set out in the world, and what is it that you're looking at achieving with the brand? So the first step is that. Then you check the soil, which is something that we call market research, finding out how is the market. And then we plant the seed of the brand, that, okay, this is the market, this is the kind of brand we are looking at, this is what we are going to do, this is how we are going to start out. And the sacrosanct step here is to be very clear of the vision for the brand and continue in that direction. So you've planted the tree like we planted the sapling today, And we have to see to it that we keep nurturing it so that it grows into what it is supposed to grow. आज जो हमने plant किए सब पेड़ नहीं बनने वाले. हम, we've just facilitated that, ecosystem there. So it's not like all of them are going to become tall trees. So that's similarly in the brand world also. Each brand is solving something, has a certain vision, and that's how we go about planting it.
So let me ask you here, in addition to what you've said, that you've done a bit of groundwork for your brand. You've checked the soil, how fertile is the idea. That also is going to be checked when you do the brand strategy planning and everything. How important is the quality of the seed, if I may use that analogy? Does that matter? Because a good seed yields a good plant. In the same way, if you have a well-defined and a meaningful concept, is that important before you start your brand journey, or otherwise you'll lose track?
Oh yeah, that is very, very important. Your vision has to be clear. That brand vision, brand positioning, what you're pegging yourself at. So this is something that we do on an individual level as well. Like there are friends amongst us that we know, they are the, call up at 3 a.m. friends. The friends who will show up whatever it takes. There are a lot of us here actually. We are fortunate to have friends like that amidst us. So each brand is looking at building a relationship with us. So we are, while we say that humans are social animals, we are actually very emotional beings. All our decisions are emotional. So that emotional relationship is what a brand is looking at building with you. So if when you set out to build a brand, whether it's a personal brand or a commodity, that vision has to be clear. What is the relationship you're looking at building with your consumer? So if that is clear, then you'll be heading in the right direction. Otherwise, your brand plant will not grow. So that has to be very clear.
Right. So Amit, let's now progress ahead in a plant's journey, in a brand's journey, in wealth creation journey. You have started, you have taken the first initiative, you have an idea or you know what you want to do with your money, but it's always going to be a long-term vision, isn't it? And you have to show patience. अब घर में अगर एक बच्चा पौधा लगाता है तो वो रोज पूछता है ये बड़ा कब होगा, ये बड़ा कब होगा. Same way, if somebody is investing a certain fund with you and if they keep on checking repeatedly that when will I have 1 2 ka 4, what would be your advice, and how important is how would you deal with patience as a virtue in financial planning?
Yeah, so we'll have to take it slow. Are you interested in immediate returns from your money? More regular, consistent returns from your money, which means your tolerance for risk is very less. So maybe go and invest your money in a fixed deposit. But are you okay and comfortable with volatility in your invested money? Then you have to understand that sometimes clients may not be ready for stock volatility or equity volatility. So they need to be taken on that path gradually. So maybe going to stocks portfolio is not the right thing. Maybe going into balance advantage funds or hybrid funds. So you have to understand the returns which are coming to you are a linear return, or are you comfortable with volatile returns? If you're not comfortable with volatile returns, then you may start your exposure slowly with volatile returns in your portfolio. And until you become confident with it, you shouldn't increase your exposure to that volatile return stuff. So coming back to your question, I think it's very important to start with what is your comfort level and what is the level of discomfort you can take in your investing journey. And it's a combination. As you become comfortable with the discomfort, your tolerance to accommodating more discomfort also increases. So the more discomfort comes in your financial discipline in terms of returns and volatility, the more comfortable you are going to be with the long-term vision. And you know that ultimately it's going to be a double-digit return. So it's a behavioral change. It's also a change in the mindset. It's also a change from a perspective that this money is not needed now. It is needed much later. So it's okay to have this money in a volatile asset. If the volatile asset is actually having enough scientifically proven data that this is how it has worked, then the change also becomes easy.
So tell me one thing, Amit, for a tree or a plant to flourish or a seed to bear fruit one day, the timing of plantation is also very important.
That's correct.
So how do we connect that with the compounding wealth or increasing your wealth, the timing, the stock market volatility, how does that play a factor, or does that play a very important factor?
Yeah. So I think more than timing, what plays a more significant role is what is the kind of return you are comfortable with, right? So every timing is good timing when it comes to investing. I think it might be a very differing view from the tree plantation where monsoon is the right weather.
Time, right.
But for investing, every time is good time to invest. Of course, long-term vision has to be there. But for a short-term vision, you have a very simple, straight, linear, fixed deposit returns that you need to look at. But I think the most important part is you have to map your investments to a goal. I often say this, please put a sticker of goal on your investments. If this money is in stocks, put a goal that this is for my retirement, this is for my child's education, this has about 8 years of horizon. This money is for your bread and butter portfolio 3 years down the line. Put a sticker that this is my core portfolio, bread and butter portfolio, because I'll be leaving my job after 3 years and I cannot take risk with this money. So attaching a goal to your investment plays a very important role. And I think that will also determine how comfortable you are with your investments.
And that gives clarity of vision as well.
Of
know
course.
exactly where you want to utilize that particular fund. So Pooja, when we talk about a brand's journey, again, the virtue of patience, of course, is very important. You've worked as creative director with big brands. But some of them do have a cushion of waiting patiently that, okay, this may be a miss, certain thing will be a hit and we'll wait. But a lot of brands may not have that liberty. People want to make it big with the word go. So how do you advise and how do you strategize for those clients?
That's an interesting question, considering the fast, instant world that we are living in right now, with delivery orders coming within seconds to your house. So there is no shortcut. It's ironic how similar the financial journey and a brand journey is. There are no shortcuts. Patience is something that you definitely have to build a brand that's going to last for a while. There are certain brands that we, as kids have experienced and we are still talking about them. They have stayed on. Tata ka salt, Tata ka namak. We remember their ads. Namak ho Tata ka Tata namak. That's one example. So you have to have patience to build a brand. Again, it totally depends on your vision. If you're looking at, अभी एक startup बनाता हूँ, उसको scale कर लेता हूँ, उसका funding मिल जाएगा, I'll get good valuation, I'll sell it, I'll go and live in some island somewhere. If that is your vision, then please do some instant gratification stuff. But if you're looking at building a brand that has an impact on the society, and that is something that people swear by, then patience is something that is definitely required.
You wanted to add something, Amit, to this? We were talking about the fact that how farmers know that, my harvest will only be ready when it's time for it to be ready. And हमारे हरियाणा में एक कहावत है कि बंदर की जल्दी मचाने से बेर जल्दी नहीं पकते. So it may be a funny way of saying this, but it's true, right? A monkey can get excited about a fruit, but it will be ready only when it's time to be ready. So if you have delayed gratification that is leading to greater rewards, it's worth giving your time and being patient, right?
Absolutely. And, nifty graph. I don't know how many of you are familiar in the room. I'm sure many men are. The index, I'm talking about the Nifty index. So if any time you have doubts about your investing journey, just look at the Nifty index. It was 1,000 in year 2001 or 2000. The index was 1,000. Today the index is hovering around 25,000, right? And in 25 years, it's just coincidence that in 25 years it's almost 25x. But if you identify a 4 or 5 year period, literally put your fingers on the graph and see 4 year, 5 period, you will be able to quickly spot 4 year periods where the money has not grown. Money has probably shrunk, or the money has stayed flat, or the money has grown. So when you zoom out and look at the 8 year window, you will identify that every 8 year window has made money for you. You zoom out and make it a 10 to 12 year window, you will see that every 10 year window has made money for you. So it's very simple way to quickly see, to assess, am I in the right direction? Of course you are. But we often say the past does not repeat itself in the future, but it has a probability. But the big function is our developing economy. The big function is kind of growth we are all going to witness. So there's no reason why the index won't grow. And there's no reason why you won't make money if you invest in the market.
While Pooja, there is a certain amount of unpredictability. This is always associated with the markets, and some things are beyond your control. The global situation, or the decisions of some global leaders, which are completely sometimes senseless but out of our hands. In a brand's journey, is it more predictable, or is it more easy to map a brand's journey? Which way is it going? Can you take early calls? That okay, this strategy is not working, so let's just drop this idea and rework our strategy, do something else.
Yeah, so we have various tools within our kitty in the industry where we gauge whether the vision that we had set out to achieve for the brand, if the brand is progressing in that direction or not, and if there is some course correction required or not. And while having said that, I want to bring to the room the very recent Coldplay concert fiasco which happened. Now that is a very good example of how the brand stuck to its ground of, we are focused on doing the work. All this attention is just distracting us. We would like this to go out of the way and focus on doing what we are doing. Now that is a brand that does not want to be in the limelight. They are quietly doing their work and doing it fantastically well. Unfortunately, for all the wrong reasons, they were brought into the spotlight. But they used it so beautifully to reiterate the brand message that it's an example in brand building. How they have said that, just excuse us, now we want to go back into doing the work that we are supposed to be doing, and thank you for all the attention. So this is just a case in point how a brand with a clear, sharp vision continues doing that, whatever the circumstances.
And not falling in the trap of noise around you. It's so easy these days to fall into the trap that, okay, somebody is thrashing us on social media. We have to give a big reply or like an adequate reply to save our image. Sometimes just a measured response is good enough, and not pay attention to the trollers is good enough.
Correct. No, this particular case in point is about how a well thought out response has worked for the brand.
Yeah.
So this is an example of how pointed approach and pointed effort towards the brand strategy, brand positioning, the brand vision leads you to greater success.
Great.
So they've continued it, with that vision, despite all this unexpected event happening.
Right.
So that's remarkable,
Right. So, Amit, just a short while back, you were talking about the fact that the saplings that have been planted today, they will not immediately show that, okay, the tree has started growing. The roots are first going to be holding the soil, keeping the plant in place, and first the activity is happening below the ground.
Yep.
So, how important is it to nourish the roots from, the wealth creation point of view? Is it important to nourish the roots in that space as well? Like if I've allocated a certain fund for, let's say my child's education, in 15 years I'll need money for his college fees. Is it going to be always a task to keep on, adding to it, take care of it, commit that I will never take out of it? How does it work in the, financial world?
Yeah, so I'll give it a spin to this conversation, right? For me, the root here is what are my thoughts about money. It's very important that we understand what is our relationship with money, what is our perspective about money. If you were to write simple 6 or 7 lines about money, what would you write? And this could be an exercise for you now, or you can do it later. Just write 7 lines about money, what you think about money. There's enough money with me. Money always works for me. Money is actually always going in the direction of people who are cheating others, or money is not good, or money is always a good tool for me to help me reach my goals faster. So if you scribble 7 or 8 lines about money, what will come out clearly is your relationship with money. And if it's a very positive relationship with money, all 7 sentences about money will come out to be very positive, right? But if you have iffy thoughts about money, they will also start reflecting. Nobody's watching you. Just do this exercise. So your relationship with money has to be very positive. For me, that is the root. What I think about money inside is the foundation of everything that I'm achieving with my money. The rest is the external world. We all say that for our own growth, what is our relationship with ourselves? That's what we need to look at, right? So relationship with money needs to be carefully analyzed before we start to take any action with the money that we have.
That's very well put, Amit. And I'm sure all of us are going to indulge in that exercise because it's very important to define what do we mean when we say, okay, money, what is it for me? And I think I'm going to do this for sure. And if you want to do it right now, you can do it and maybe we can share some ideas later. But let's talk about the root of a brand. How does a brand grow, Pooja? I want to understand from you. And what is that vital support system of a brand that everyone must keep in mind?
So, like I said earlier, that the main, what is your goal? What is it that the brand is setting out to do? What is the brand? What is the relationship you're looking at building with your consumer? And just with that clarity, like what I tell my clients is that, once we've got the brand vision and brand, positioning clear, I want it pasted on every employee's softboard. सबको पता होना चाहिए कि तीर किस निशाने पे मारना है, where is it that we are aiming, what is the goal post. So once that clarity is there and we repeatedly progress in that direction, then the brand nothing can stop the brand from achieving what it has set out to achieve. The association in the relationship with the consumer, that bond that it is looking at building, nothing in the world can stop it. If you consistently keep that effort going, sometimes those choices are very difficult choices. It might not always lead to a monetary commercial benefit for the brand, but the vision has to be there. That sometimes it just might be a philanthropist gesture that you're doing. Like to give you one example, when Indian team went to Olympics, everybody was honoring the winners, while Tata decided to honor the runners-up. So now this very exercise by Tata gives you, builds a warmth in our hearts about that brand. Now that warm, fuzzy space is what Tata has... this is not intentional. Tata's not paying me. I don't know why I'm just citing Tata examples. But yeah,
we'll leak this video, don't worry.
Yeah, so, but that is one brand that has actually, done a great job in building itself. So just by doing that gesture, instead of, giving out awards and money and everything to the winners to already win karke aaye hain, they're getting all the limelight. What about the runners-up, the people who almost made it, couldn't make it?
We had the maximum 4th place finishes this year.
This year, yeah.
These Olympics,
yeah, correct. So just honoring them. Now by that, the brand went on, re-establishing itself as this person who cares, who's there for you, who will appreciate effort made in the right direction.
No, it's great. I mean, I have many more questions from both of them, but I would like to invite the audience as well. Because this is an interactive session, I would want you all also to please participate. Raise your hands, I'll make sure that the mic reaches you. And if you have any questions for Amit or Pooja from their respective expertise, they would be, I'm sure, very happy to help you and guide you further. Can I have some questions from the audience?
We have a mixed group of people. We have corporate executives, we have people who are running their small businesses, we have part-time consultants, we have lawyers, and everybody has a different perspective on branding. So sometimes, the corporate executives, they don't look at their branding because their domain is different. They could be delivery, they could be on the merchandising side or manufacturing side. But open forum, please. Any questions on brand or wealth or anything?
I think they can ask like personal advice as well in terms of whatever they are seeking in their financial journey or brand journey. It's an open house. Please raise your hands and I'll welcome your questions. Or should I just give you some time to make your questions and ask another question in the meantime? Yeah? So, are you ready for it? No? You ready, sir? Can we pass on the mic, please? To the gentleman here.
People are tired also.
I'm sure that's why I'm not bothering them too much.
Yeah, we'll go easy.
Hi, my name is Vishal and my question primarily goes to Amit. In fact, it's a prelude to question is that when we went inside that place to plant the trees, Tani, my wife, is sitting here. And I asked her कि जंगल में पेड़ लगाने क्यों आए? मतलब वहाँ तो पेड़ है already. So what best we can do? So her one line reply was, किसी ने लगाए थे तो जंगल है. So that changed my perspective today a lot. Now coming Amit to you on the thing that we did it. I really felt that my kids would have been here today. So making them understand on what we heard, that 30-minute speech from Vijay was a life-changing speech for me, that it is not a tree, it is an ecosystem that we're trying to create today.
Yeah.
How do you put it across now? That how do we manage or tell our next generations not only about this ecology, but also the advice on finances?
Yeah. It's a very, very relevant question, Vishal, and we often think that the kind of challenges that we went through when we were children and the kind of challenges that these guys are going through, this stark difference.
No comparison.
No comparison. I mean, they're already well taken care of. Even before they ask, they have already been given in terms of materialistic things. And I think and that's why I'm going on a tangent. These mental health issues are now surfacing so frequently because they do not have the capacity to go through the grind. So we can artificially create some simulated pseudo-stress situations, We can create a simple thing that, look, money needs to be earned. If you're going to do a couple of errands a week, we'll be happy to give you pocket money. But not every parent indulges into that habit. But somehow we will have to simulate that environment that tomorrow, if you're not in the house, you will be made to earn money. In order for you to be able to do that successfully, can we create something within the house where you contribute and we pay for your effort? That's earning habit. Let's talk about investing. If you are able to save something, if I'm giving you a pocket money that you are earning, and if you're spending, we will not be asking you any questions. And if you're saving, that saving can be invested and that money can be grown. Even these two things, if we are able to inculcate these two things during the teenage years, between 13 and 18, I think the relationship with money will grow fantastic. But not more. All of us are able to do that. We just have to see what we can, what habits we can inculcate in them, and also the surroundings that they are indirectly facing, right? If we are doing money conversations, are they very stressful conversations at home? Is that a serious conversation on the dining table that, look, I lost this money, or I didn't get my salary, or this month the revenue was not good? So the conversations doesn't have to be very serious. It can be detached, yet objective, yet full of facts. If it's a loss, we'll make it up. So we need to also make them comfortable with the discomfort of no money or less money. If these two things can be subtly built in the communication and interaction with them on a weekly, daily, or a bi-monthly basis, it will change. It will change the financial thought pattern.
Sure thing. Thank you.
No, it was a great question also. In fact, a lot of things in our lives are so interconnected. Respect for nature is also reflected in your respect in interpersonal relations and respect for money. Yeah. Unless you know what is the value of a particular thing in nature, what is the value of that plant or that tree, it will reflect in your other decisions as well, Pooja, right? The respect for money, or the respect for your work, or the respect for your effort, or the respect for the fact that your mom is also going out and working and being in at a position where she is commanding that sort of authority. All these things are very interconnected, and I think our children learn from our behavior on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely, totally. Amit captured it beautifully. And these are things that we have to lead by example. So you have to set the right precedent. Our involvement with nature. I mean, I really wish there were more kids. My daughter couldn't make it today. I wish there were more kids involved today. Because this connection with nature is also, in my mind, that's my theory, is also a solution to a lot of the mental problems that we are facing with the current generation. So a lot of things are based on these few universal truths. There's a lot we can learn from nature.
And there's one more thing I want to add. It invariably happens when children are observing that one parent is saying, "Beta, ye mera department nahi hai, ye papa ka department hai." Yeah, it happens. Actually, we need to say, "Mujhe bhi seekhna hai, main tumhare saath papa se seekhti hu." The conversation should change, because otherwise they're walking away with the lesson that ki maine agar nahi bhi seekha to chal jayega. But the way we are all now focused on independence in our day-to-day living, we need to be complete in ourselves, in our life, be it money, be it career, be it health, be it whatever we are doing for nature. So children should observe from the parents that even if one parent is not active, she is less active, but she's still active. So don't do that conversation कि मुझे ये बिल्कुल समझना भी नहीं है, करना भी नहीं है. In fact, take it as an opportunity कि मैं तुम्हारे साथ मैं भी सीख लेती हूँ या मैं भी सीख लेता हूँ.
Especially our girls take a lot from that. That अगर मम्मी का काम चल गया बिना सीखे on how to manage her funds, maybe even I don't need to learn it.
Correct.
And be dependent on a man in her life maybe for all of this, but we don't want that, right? All of us are working very hard to make our girls independent and know how to manage their own money. A great thought there. I have time, I think, for one more question.
Yeah, sure.
Just
Let's
a final
take one
question. If someone from the audience would like to put up, I'll be happy to take that. Or we can wrap it up with the final thoughts from our panelists. Okay. Sure, ma'am.
Yes,
sure.
sir.
I'll send the mic to you.
This is Simi. I'm part of the yoga community with Amit today, and I'm really glad it's a Saturday morning well spent. No regrets of getting up early, even
Great.
Friday night. So thank you, Amit, for organizing
Pleasure.
this today. So just delving on what Amit just said, how we need to teach our kids today. So I sometimes tell my children, no is an answer. So I think we also need to teach our children saying it is absolutely okay to hear and go from a parent.
No is a full sentence.
It's a full sentence. And we all stay nuclear families. Sometimes most of us have one child or maximum two. So I've had this conversation with my children. But what happens is, you as a parent are trying to create an ecosystem in your house. But when they have friends around, you are the witch in their lives. Because that's why Mama was aaphi har children.
Yeah.
So it gets very tough to swim in those troubled waters.
Yeah.
But I would love to hear from others, how do you manage, that peer pressure which comes around with it.
Yeah,
I think that's a good point to have your final thoughts on.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but the switch, the flip is, which toothpaste do you use? Is that what he uses or she uses outside the house, or is that your own choice, right? Which soap bar do you use, or which shampoo do you use? It's your own decision, right? What habits are you inculcating in yourself? What time to wake up? What time to do your yoga? What food to make? What would you like to eat together? What television to buy? What furniture to buy? All these decisions are your own decisions. You take inputs from the outside world, but the decisions are all your own decisions, right? We need to tell children the same. Look, this is our own decision. We want you to take your own decision, not get influenced by what others are doing. And what is it that you want to do if the person was not around? So anytime it is going out of your control, the conversation needs to be, okay, why did you buy this denim? Or why did you buy this shirt? It was your own decision. Thoda bahut fashion ka influence hota hai. It's a different thing. But we need to bring them back to their own decision-making capacity, and we need to leave them alone. Okay, if you want to buy this because he or she has bought it, go ahead, buy it. Let them go through the consequence of their selection. Eventually, it will happen that they will start to select the right things for themselves, because what is important is the independence in them. Only if you let them be, they will become what you want them to be.
थोड़ा fashion का influence होता है, थोड़ा branding का होता है. Absolutely. Everyone is falling in that trap.
Yeah, and that actually a very fair point Amit has made. So once you know your own personal brand, and what we can do as parents is just enable our kids. We are just facilitators. So we just enable our kids to find their own brand voice of their own personal brand. Once that is there, then you'll realize you don't need to say no to them at all, because they are making their decisions, they are finding the rights and wrongs of that, and they'll learn from that and make their own brand voice sharper. So that is what I would want to add to that.
Yeah, and I think the conclusion of this discussion would really be, you will reap what you sow. Yeah. At the end of the day, what you have neglected or what you have in terms of made poor choices of, it's going to reflect in the outcome. If your choices, your seed and everything was done perfectly and with the right intention, again, the plant, the tree will show in the way it grows. So thank you so much for being a wonderful audience. Thank you, Amit and Pooja, for such an enlightening session. It was great to discuss this with you.